about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That was the great sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHH-LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, E.Z. BlueZ is in the building. E.Z. BlueZ, you're better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, usually I tell you we're going to get in the Wayback Machine. We're going to go a little bit deeper today. We're going to go into those dark catacombs of everyone's mind that 9 times out of 10, they don't want to admit that's there, but it's there. You know it is. It's that part of your mind that craves and cannot change the channel when the craft comes on. Even though you know what happens, you know they all get it in the end, but you still got to watch every moment. It is that darkness that should be celebrated. Again, everything in moderation. I mean, do what you got to do and, see what you need to see. I'm not saying anything needs to be anything else, but still celebrate it. Still take those moments, because if we don't, then we're going to lose parts of ourselves. In a world that they really push us to be as alike each other as possible, in which we're almost a carbon copy of a single mold, we have these people that push forward and celebrate the things that are the most different and the most glorious about them and the way that they think. And today, we are honored and blessed to have with us the founder of the New England Obscuria. I want you to put your hands together, not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2. We don't want any accidents, okay? But mentally, put your hands together, those dark, twisted hands, put them together for Joe Zembrowski from New England Obscuria. Hello, sir.
Thank you, and thank you. And that was probably the best intro I think I've ever gotten.
Aw.
It's almost like you
I pride myself. Yeah, that's what I do. It's my one stupid human trick. It works out really well. But now that I've kind of let the cat out of the bag, but we have enough to sit and really talk about. What is New England Obscuria for the person that's listening and just like, hey, E.Z. just said a whole lot of hot air, but give me the substance.
General promotion of the fringe, the downtrodden, the out and about, the strange, the outliers of our society. Essentially, it's events for the freaks by the freaks. And it's a way to give everybody a shot.
It's so interesting because throughout all of history, if you look through big promotion and really coming from Connecticut, people really should understand this more than anybody else. But there's such entertainment and there's such marketing, like modern day marketing stems from the obscure, because it stems from P.T. Barnum, someone who went out there and did push that envelope. And you can go check out that P.T. Barnum Museum directly in Bridgeport if you'd like. But besides that, you have now taken it into this newer direction. And it's not that you're reinventing the wheel, but what you're doing is you're bringing, and I say this just for the listener, you're bringing the humanity back into it. You are letting the people that are on the come up. They are not massively established people. These are not people who are making $1 bajillion living a true lifestyle. These are people who are genuine in a lifestyle that are now creating a supplemental income by just being themselves. Is that what you did as well, or was this something that you stumbled into?
That's probably given me far too much credit, but I appreciate the love. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of the larger antiques and oddities exhibitions, oof, tongue-tied. Yeah, a lot of the larger ones, whether it be the Curiosities Expo or what have you, they essentially skip over New England as a whole. I mean, the closest we get is New York City, Albany if we're lucky, and whether people choose to admit it or not, especially some of the larger people in the oddities community, there's a bustling scene out this way that just needs it. And I found that, I made the event on a whim. It absolutely blew up, and it's still kind of shocking to me, to say the very least.
No, it's true because it's interesting for anyone who actually has like studied horror or anything like that to skip over New England really doesn't make a lot of sense because if you look at the backdrop for a lot of horror and a lot of things that have actually happened that have become horror lore, it's happened in New England. It's happened in Connecticut. It's happened on Long Island. It's happened in Massachusetts. All of these things are New England. So why do you think people skip over it? Is it they're like, well, they probably have better ones anyway. Let's celebrate where it's not happening.
Possibly. That could be the main deterrent. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some wonderful festivals that happen yearly, whether it be the Oddities Bazaar run by the Frankenstein's twins, which recently went down to Arcade, or if it's, Connecticut Horror Fest or any of the cons like that. But as far as just something, for a place to go specifically for, and I'm trying to think of a word to generalize, all the items that I've, included in these past few shows. And there's just nothing that could do it the proper amount of justice. I mean, it's stuff you're never going to see anywhere else, at least that I know of. And especially in New England where, the antique scene is so hoity-toity and like you walk into places and you can't touch it, to be able to go to a, homegrown market where, people aren't really worried and let you literally touch anything on the table educated about you or educate you about it, my lord. Yeah, to getting kind of lost in my thoughts here because there really is nothing to generalize it that easily.
And honestly, to me, that's one of the key selling points because they're the only thing that I can use to generalize it. It's actually one of like the reasons why we have this show is you're giving this platform to people who weren't going to have it before because, for the smaller vendor that can't make those table prices for some of these bigger conventions, what do you do? Yes, you might have a decent online business going, but you're still pumping money into that online business. And really, again, from a business point of view, between the first 3 to 5 years, you're going to be in the red. You're not going to hit the green, which means make a profit until about the 5th year because you have these expenses going through. And that applies to everything. Just because this is, as you stated before, a fringe business, it still has the same rules that apply there. And what you're actually doing, I know you say I'm giving you more credit than you feel you deserve, but you're giving a platform for that person that wasn't able to raise that seed money to get to that next level. And instead of saying, well, this is just kind of like the flea market aspect of this whole thing, you have created something that is bigger than just a knockoff. It has its own personality. So thank you for that.
I'd like to think I'm doing something right. And yeah, especially a lot of the larger expos, I mean, the table fees are just astronomical. Truly. And even then, I mean, you'd be, maybe traveling 2.5 hours to get to it on top of what you've already spent. And that's, God forbid you get there and you don't sell a single thing. So with that in mind, I have yet to charge any table fees. As far as renting out spaces go, I'm okay with being in the red. Everything I do is donation based. If I make money, that's cool. If not, I can live with it. I can live with it.
Okay.
See, it's so interesting because, again, one of the reasons why we love doing the show on the level we do it at, you don't hear that story elsewhere. You don't hear that story from, I'm not going to throw the big names out there, but you don't hear the stories from place big name corporation here. Hey, if we lose money, we lose money, because that huge rule in capitalism is don't lose money. That's your one rule, just don't lose money. We don't care if you don't lose money ethically. We don't care if you don't lose money, by stabbing your brother in the back and cutting his throat. We just don't lose money. And here you are, you're giving freely upon your time because you understand the importance of a need, which I think is where we are starting to head back to as a society. I've seen a lot of the smaller scale, kind of like these markets pop up. Our good friends in Hamden, have had the High Bazaar where they were taking it and making it more about the individual. And that's really the main comparison I can give for you guys, for the listener who's not going to really know. That's really what it is, but in this obscura or fringe market where you are tapping into more of the bizarre, more of the weird, more of the unknown, and it's a beautiful thing. I've been around the lifestyle for a while, and for those people who are just kind of jumping into it, that first party you go to, just brace yourself. Within the first time you walk in, someone is going to be hanging from the chandeliers by the hooks on their back. It's going to happen. So just prepare yourself before you walk in that you're going to see it. But the people are amazing. Like some of the most down-to-earth people out there, and I love that it seems the fringe are pushed to the side, but as they get pushed to the side, they actually unite. And they're some of the most tolerant people you're ever going to meet. They're some of the most lovely people you're ever going to meet. No matter how they look or how scary they may be, within the first 5 seconds, as long as you're not being mean to them, they're going to be the most loving people in the entire world.
Nice.
These people have taken food from their plate and put it on mine. And let's just be real about that. And that's one of the reasons why after I ran into you at the other gig, I really wanted to get you on the show, because I love the fact that now knowing that you do it without a table fee, you're like the obscure Robin Hood. I'm loving it. Like, good stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I never said I was a good businessman. I'm just a promoter. I mean, the profit is the least, worry, or the least of my worries, rather, I should say. And at the end of the day, I mean, it just started because, as I said, I didn't really see too much around like this, and had a bunch of friends who were into the same thing, and somehow it's working. Somehow it's working.
Now, again, for the listener at home, how long has this been working?
So the first official curation of the New England Antiques and Oddities exhibition was in 2021, October 3rd, to be specific. And yeah, it's been a matter of months. I mean, I just hit 1,300 followers on Instagram, which is strange to me because I don't know how to use Instagram.
You don't know how to use Instagram?
I don't.
Wow. It's just by the layout that I see on your page, it seems like you really know how to use Instagram. That's why I have to have the reaction on my face.
I'm a boomer in disguise. The funny thing is I don't even want to make an Instagram. I had my buddy Noble show me what to do, and he actually made the Instagram for me, because I was like, I'll just do it on Facebook. Facebook's simple.
Okay.
So even that I've ended up on accidentally. And
well,
even
yeah, well, it's interesting because a lot of people do go about that aspect of, I'll just continue to do it on Facebook, or I'll just start up one on Facebook, not realizing that from a marketing point of view, that's actually considered a dead medium right now, when it comes to certain things, and especially for, a visually stunning medium like what you guys do, Instagram is the way to go, because we are continuing to condition ourselves to be as small attention span as humanly possible. So if you can give it to us in a microdose, we'll be a lot happier. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. Yeah, and again, I'll continue to say I really don't know how I got here. How I got. It's a trip. I mean, truly, at the end of the day, that's all it is.
That's life, right?
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm just I'm not even the driver. I'm just along for the ride at this point. It's become a monster all in its own.
Wow. I saw on the Instagram page, just like going through it, just as the interview goes on, that you guys did stuff with Planned Parenthood. Any other donations or any other organizations that your organization works with?
Ooh, that's under the wraps right now.
Okay.
I've got a little something in the works to
cool.
benefit a little, animal shelter, nothing crazy.
Nice.
And well, as far as that, like, even the few bucks I make, I'm trying to give back. Probably going to do a few shows where instead of cash, I'm taking canned goods for the New Haven Food Pantry, things along that nature. And
that's good.
Yeah, no, again, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm trying to make the artists happy.
And that's what it's all about.
Well, it's Yeah, and it's really interesting. I love the fact that you work with Planned Parenthood, especially since with everything that happened has happened in Texas. You know, them really cracking down on women's health rights.
Right.
It was actually for those who are watching the home game at home, and now you can tell how incredible people are, right? It was the actual the Church of Satan that made it, you know, actual part of their church doctrine that, you know, a woman could have full control over her body. So now, under the religious freedom laws, you know, now women could, as long as they are affiliated with the, you know, the Satanic Church, they can, you know, have abortions. And I think that's an incredible thing. And I love how once again you then stepped up and really decided to be like, now is it easier being on the fringe? Like for the squares that are listening at home, is it easier to stand up to some of these negatives when you're on the fringe, or is it harder?
You know, that's the funny thing about all these freaky cats that I run into is they're on the up and up with social values. That's the funniest part about all of it is even though we look horrifying, you know, I mean, we look horrifying, we dress horrifying. I mean, half my friends do taxidermy as a hobby. And, you know, I mean, again, like, that's the only way I can describe it is we are on the up and up with social values.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know what? To answer your question, yeah, it is kind of easier. It is easier. I guess the people who've been pushed away know or can at least comprehend the wrongs of society as a whole. Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna go with that. That sounds like I'm educated.
I love that, and I think that is an incredible answer. And I feel the same way. You know, when they already don't, when the system already doesn't expect much out of you or doesn't expect you to listen to begin with, it's a lot easier to stand for what is right. You know, again, for those who, you know, for example, I have friends and brethren that are still in the military. They cannot say how they feel about a political action. They cannot say it. They've signed a contract. They cannot say it. They cannot say it at all. They cannot say that because of their job. And because of that, it is very, you know, if they say it, they'll lose their job. So they can't stand up. But like myself, I'm no longer in. I can say, this is good. This is what I feel is good. This is how I feel is bad. This is what I see as justice. This is what I see as injustice. And the further you get out, you know, the more people can make those stands. But, you know, we say it now, especially in CT with it being legalized, you know, if you have to pee for work, don't partake in marijuana. But if you don't, do you? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Even then, you didn't hear this from me, but Yale technically isn't even screening for it anymore.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no. We're making waves on a very short level nationwide. We're doing what we can.
Nice.
It is nice
Right.
on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. Easy, tell me about Joe. Tell me more about Joe, Easy. Let's just have this conversation continue.
I'm actually, hold on one second.
My headphones just died. So I had to switch out real quick. I apologize for that. But now, Joe, as you're continuing through this journey, you know, you started out as a promoter, just as a promoter of shows, promoter of events. You know, how did you start as a promoter?
Age 16 in my mother's garage. Set up a PA, packed the place, and yeah, very DIY setup. Very, very DIY setup. And it then progressed into booking bands that I never thought would want anything to do with me, which has been humbling in its own right. And yeah, no, I mean, as far as events go, I saw a need for this. It's a weird little thing that I found on, which even that, even the Instagram, you know, to cycle back to that, that was only supposed to be for a singular event.
Right. And then it turned out.
Yeah, took it all. I should say the community took the idea all by force, actually. if there's anybody who wanted it to be a yearly thing, wanted it to be even every few months, it is the people who are consistently in my DMs.
Right.
Which, another humbling thing. It's wild.
Well, that's important. And for everybody, you know, who is at home and, you know, they know people that are doing, you know, interesting things, and you think that they're good, or you think that it's going to move forward. As Joe just said, hit their DMs, check in on them, you know, see if they're going to continue to do it, you know, because if not, we don't know if you guys are digging it. We don't know if it's something that people still want. Maybe it was just a one and done type of thing. So that type of encouragement is huge, you know, and on this local and smaller levels, the person that you're DMing is probably the person that's going to respond to you. You know, it's not going to be that 17th intern that just has been up for 24 hours after walking across the Brooklyn Bridge to get a slice of cherry pie for Mr. Diddy. You know, no, it's going to be actual person sitting there doing what they need to do, you know.
He agrees.
Now, Joe, you said you had bands that you thought would never even give you the time of day. Can you share us the biggest grab for you? Like, which one was like the, oh my goodness, maybe this is what I do now moment for you?
The weirdest thing is I have Lil B's number in my phone, which is just strange in and of itself. Like, I can FaceTime the guy. Wow. Yeah, no. It's weird. It's weird. The first ever major band is a folk punk band that I booked called Days and Days. And I don't know how I got them to New Haven to play in my friend's basement, but it happened a few years ago. And from there on out, it has been insane. I mean, recently we even, not that it was necessarily my show, but I was doing sound at, you know, the Barracks, the venue I work at. And we had a band come from as far as Tokyo. It's wild to see how quickly all these connections can happen.
It's true. It actually, one of the last Obscuria events you had was at BRX, and you had one of our dear friends and former guest on the show, Frederick. He had his band Peasant playing there, and from the video footage, someone went through a table.
Yeah, that was the yeah, that was Kyle from Just. He's a character, to put it in latent terms. I love him to death. Those kids are an absolute blast to be at shows with, especially Peasant.
Yeah.
My Lord, they're energetic.
Very, very true. Very, very true. So energetic. Same thing. Also, you've had Problem with Kids today at the Beer Axe. They're another really energized band. You know, some phenomenal stuff going on there. What makes it so different than, say, the other venues? Because being someone who's played there, I know what the difference is, at least from a performer point of view. But for the person coming, for the person there for the entertainment itself, what makes it different than, say, you know, a Stella's or, you know, a Cellar or something like that?
We are probably far too relaxed for our own good. You know, it is as DIY as DIY gets. You know, our soundboard is made of recycled pallets, but we hold it down. We're actually upgrading everything. We're getting more lights. We're getting a haze machine, which is insane. Even a brand new sound system. So this year it's going to look a lot different down there, actually. Nice. I think that the one thing that you can really experience there that you don't really see a lot in other venues, especially when there's cut and dry, is get on the stage, get out, here's like $5, be on your way, is the natural camaraderie that comes with the space, and just being able to grow with other bands, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
You know, not to say you can't do it elsewhere, but there's just something. It's going to sound strange, but there's some different energy about that room.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And for those who have not been there, let me set the scape for you, because honestly, playing there, you automatically feel like you're in like a 90s music video. You've got, the big tanks behind you, and you've got, the lights, and it feels very much like a garage. It feels very much in that relaxed type of environment where you just kind of open up your garage door and you let the neighbors in, and everyone's, passing around the cup and everyone's having a grand old time. But there's a different energy to that room, especially when the bill clicks perfectly and each band can build that intensity until that very last moment. I say it's because the ceiling is so high. It doesn't feel like you could blow the roof off of that venue. And I don't say that lightly. Those who know, I front Shane Penguin. We try to blow the roof off of every venue everywhere at any point in time.
Right.
But there's just such a beautiful energy to the room where at one moment, like a ballroom dance thing could break out, in another moment, a mosh pit could break out. And in another moment right there, everyone just kind of stops and stares because some incredible something just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just with a singular act. It's almost every single bill I have seen there and almost every single bill I have played there. You have at least 3 of those moments happen. And that's difficult, especially in a venue heavy scene that we are currently in.
Oh, most definitely. Especially, not to even put it lightly, we have some stiff competition. We really do. Connecticut, thankfully, a lot of the nice venues actually survived the pandemic, which unfortunately it's not like that in a lot of other states at the moment.
Right.
The fact that people single us out, come to us, it's just because we're doing things differently. As I said, It's relaxed, it's a different energy, and we're also not overly elitist with what we book. I mean, we have everything from EDM, from rap to like slamming death metal, and then like the next night it's just a bunch of indie kids with violins. So it's all over the place, but somehow it works.
Yeah, something for everybody.
Exactly.
Joe,
it kind of gives me that
easy,
Wetlands vibe.
Easy, real second, Joe. One second, just to get the audio quality right for the interview. Just put the volume down just a little bit on that TV. Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. That's fine. I'm learning a lot in the interview, though. About East Haven, the B racks. I've never been to this venue before. I'm a little bit interested.
Oh! You're gonna be there. You're gonna be there.
Oh Lord, we can talk about that after the show.
We'll put together some type of Sunday show. You'll be there.
Lord.
It'll be a good time.
Okay, I'm excited. I definitely am.
Man, I hope I didn't just ruin the entire interview with
you did not.
No.
You did not. You did not. You gave us a lot of gems. You definitely gave us a lot of gems, brother. But just like so people could just hear you and only you. Just making sure we get that situated. But go ahead, Ease. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. None at all. It actually kind of for the older heads that used to go into New York City a lot, kind of has like a Wetlands feel to it. Gotcha. What was great about the Wetlands venue, although it was mainly established as a conservation hippie venue, it became really known for punk rock, became really known for hip hop, it became really, really known for ska music, and just being that every type of music could play through there. I mean, so much that the weirdness could happen that when Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead played there, his backing band was Hanson. And, I feel like a moment like that's kind of the type of venue that Beer Axe is. Who knows? Some night you might see, 30th of February backing up Manny James or something like that, where things, and there makes sense. Anywhere else, you completely lost your mind. But there, it absolutely makes sense.
No, absolutely. Mixed bills, as many different genres that can come through the door as we can get. And, I've even looked into jazz nights.
Okay. Nice.
And that's just me, touching back on my childhood because, I was a little jazz nerd growing up.
Now, are you a musician as well?
Unfortunately, I have that curse. Yes. I went to Cooperative Arts in New Haven. I did bass, picked up drums while I was there, a little bit of upright. And yeah, I'm one of those. I'm one of those, man. I'm a filthy musician.
Now, what's your current project? Like, what can we expect from you musically? Are you just putting that on the shelf right now and just being the awesome quality you are?
There you go.
Yeah. No, that basically sums it up. I mean, I jam with a few friends, but nothing's really come out of it yet.
All right. Makes sense. I appreciate it.
I'm not opposed to it though. Got a lot of gear just gathering dust, so it'd be nice to actually take it out again.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. We need to introduce you to Bill and Bill Saunders and Nancy Shea, and then get you involved in the rock lottery. You know, you'll find a whole new life, bro. Trust me.
I'll have to take you up on that.
And madness, and absolute madness, because it is definitely by far the bizarrest thing you're going to do. And I say that knowing what else you promote, sir. I can honestly say that.
You probably, speaking of bizarre, you've probably seen the background already.
Yeah, no, definitely.
A little bit of everything.
When did you decide? Like, was it something that you realized at a really young age that, you know, the fringe was more for you, the darker side was more for you, or was it something that, like,
that is an easy
the
question.
white hats?
That's a very easy question.
Cool.
My grandfather used to deliver to this guy, and my God, do I miss this place? Wild Bill's up in Middletown.
Oh,
I know. Moment of silence. But being in there, meeting that eclectic dude, and he was a weird dude, and I mean that such a loving way. I mean, you go in there, there's like mummified cats hanging next to Volkswagens. I'm like, yeah, no, this is it. And I remember being like the weird little kid that at like 9, I wanted to take home like the coyote skulls.
right.
He's, you know what, as strange as it is, he's also who introduced me to the Grateful Dead. And like, even though I understand, you know, growing up, probably not the best music for like a literal child to be listening to, given some of the innuendos, but you know, I got him to thank for being weird and having a secret love for the dead.
Nice. Wild Bill is actually Prestige and I were there for Pig Jam.
Yes.
Yeah, way back there. Yeah, I remember.
Way back when. That was a good time that we'll never remember.
Yeah, there's you know, it's funny you say that. I wish I could remember the piano burning I went to. It was always a good time there, man. That was half the battle in that place. It was always a good time.
Look, Wild Bill's is like Studio 54. If you can remember being there, you weren't there. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, it was a shame to see that place shut down. Real shame.
I love that it's something as natural as that. I love that it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I just used to watch the Addams Family all the time. I love that there was a true personal connection. Don't get me wrong, love the Addams Family, big fan. But you know, I love that it's an actually human being that, you know, connects you on a personal level, because that makes so much sense of what you do with New England Obscuria, because you are now connecting these other vendors with a clientele on a personal level. And that's something that we really, really strive for here with Behind the Brand, is to getting to know, you know, the story and getting to know that actual individual. I feel that is the truest representation. You know, you can't pick up the phone and call Sam Walton, but you can definitely, you know, go on to Instagram and message New England Obscuria, and you'll get a response back. It might not be for a day or two, but you'll get a response back.
Yeah, I am, as I said, inept, even though I come from a generation that shouldn't be. Yeah, I forget that the request folder exists sometimes. Yeah, it's terrible. Plus, like, the one account that I have notifications turned on for is Mamoon's.
Right.
Which, not from best baklava around. Hands down.
That's true.
Hands down. Always.
That's true.
But yeah, no, by all means, contact me. It'll take a while, but I'll find it.
Joe, with your less interaction with social media, do you think that could be more of a good thing when it comes just to you personally, just mental wise? Because so many people are just so attracted and so like in tune with their phones, they just lose, you know what I'm saying, the concentration of just basic life.
If it was up to me,
yeah.
If it was up to me, I wouldn't have a phone. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I really wouldn't.
Right.
I think, you know, social media as a whole and the forced media perspective of Western culture is something that is less than ideal, especially for mental health. But that is a whole other can of worms.
It is.
Yeah.
And from what we've been hearing so far, but what you've been doing just through this whole broadcast, I'm just meeting you for the first time, you have a lot of stuff you're responsible for. Do you think a team can be really good when it comes to social media, and you can just, you know, talk to them about that? Maybe get a couple interns help you out.
Hey, I tell you what, if I hit 2,000 followers, I'm gonna have to think about it. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Understand.
But even you know, the last event that I had to have somebody on to work the door, work security, and I, you know, make sure things went right. And yeah, it might get to that level of growth. It might not, but either way, man, I'm along for the ride.
There you go. Well, easy. I didn't mean to, you know, pull that.
Oh no, dude, that was a great question. I actually want, because the thing is that actually relates a lot, because we have a lot of musicians that come on the show. We have a lot of musicians that are there, you know, listening right now, and they're waiting for that hookup. That's a phenomenal thing. I love that you set a goal. You're like, hey, I hit 2K, I'm gonna have to reconsider. You know, these are things that as people starting out through business, they need to look at. You know, because there's going to be a point in time where you cannot handle it all. You know, you're going to want to, you know, you're definitely going to have more coming to your bottom line if you do, but you're also your quality of life is going to get less. And as your quality of life gets less, the quality of what you're putting out is going to be less as well, because now you're starting to have that resent thing. You know, it's like marrying your high school sweetheart. Sooner or later, you're just mad at each other, you know, and that's just kind of like what happens, you know. But as you continue to evolve through, you do need to set these goals. You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, short-term, long-term, and, you know, eventual. You know, and setting those goals and checking on them regularly. And there's going to be a point in time when you do that from a business point of view, that long-term goal that you thought was unachievable becomes a short-term goal, if that's what you want to do. You know, now, again, Joe's rocking and rolling with riding the wave and seeing where this is going to play out to, which honestly, I am a huge fan of. It is the kind of like that, you know, Dude Lebowski type of way to go about it. You know, the rug, it tied the room together. So now I got to go find a way to get another rug. You know, and there's this amazing beauty to it. It has that Zen quality. I also love the fact that you brought up the whole point of view of, you know, it being social media being a derivative of Western society and Western society's norms. You know, as much it is something that has given us our freedoms, it is also something that really restricts, you know, the quality of our life. You know, I joked around about it, you know, before with Facebook to Instagram, but, you know, we do have a shorter attention span. You know, there was a point in time in music where you had 30 seconds to 45 seconds to pull your listener in. We're now down to, if you can't grab someone in the first 15 seconds of your song, they've already changed skipped it through. You know, and all of that has to do with the fact that how much easier, you know, information is processed to us. Now, there are great sides to that. You know, we're starting to see a lot of social change because of it. You know, there's a lot. Look, right now, I'm going to say it, and I think you're the perfect guest to say it too. It happened this week. But shout out to Pornhub. Shout out to Pornhub for restricting.
Easy. Do you remember what kind of station we are? We're on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ Blues is in the building.
I said
Behind
corn.
the Plan on terrestrial radio. Easy. My God, you got to set these guidelines. But Joe, my question to you: the Cans to Go project. Please tell someone outside what that is, because I think that's a good thing you guys do. At the Beer Axe, Cans to Go project.
Oh,
yeah,
man. Oh God.
Curveball.
I was not ready for that one.
Swerved it. We had to swerve it.
I am unfortunately just the humble barback. And to really do that justice, I mean, I'm gonna have to get in touch with Christian on that one.
Let's do it.
I'm sure he would love to be able to answer that far better than I ever could.
Okay. Because I appreciate your honesty. I really do.
You know, I'm not.
He's definitely someone that's on our register. We've been blessed to have. We had Black Hog on a couple weeks ago, so we're definitely looking to reach out and speak with Christian as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's awesome. And thank you for not just blowing smoke, because a lot of people in that moment would be like, "Oh, it's this wonderful thing," and then you go there and it's not. You're like, "But they said there was an imaginary dragon. I wanted to see the imaginary dragon," you know. But that's why I appreciate it.
I think he's been the most honest guest we had in the history of this podcast. Honestly, in my opinion. I think he has nothing. He has nothing to hide. He has nothing to let go. That's the feeling about this guy right here.
It's just on point.
Yes.
Just on point, and like, just this is what it is. This is what goes for. But now, what's the future? What's the future for Joe? What's the future for New England Obscuria? What's the future for what else? What do you call your promotion company? Do you have a name, or is it just Joe?
Funny thing is, man, I didn't even know I had a promotion company.
Oh Lord.
No, seriously. I mean, I guess I generalized the Antiques and Oddities exhibition with New England Obscura, and that's only because New England Oddities was already taken.
Mm-hmm.
Would have liked that one. Would have really liked that one, but you know, can't have everything. It's okay. I'll deal. So yeah, New England Obscura, NEO for sure. I have people calling me Neo, which is interesting. The future, I'd love to branch out into other aspects of New England. I'd love to. I'm actually thinking about getting one up in Nass.
Okay.
Come this winter, and just seeing how big I can grow it. I mean, I got invited to a little get together up in Maine, and I might have to take them up on that offer. I would love to do. I'd love to do almost like, not journalism per se, but just like quick little write-ups about all the strange things that are going on all around New England. And I might get there one day. I might get there. But the future for me personally, I'm working 2 jobs, and I got an additional tap room. Well, not personally, I wish I wouldn't be driving at 03. And we have another tap room opening up in New Haven, Armada Brewing.
Good for you.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's another company that I was happy to be taken on by, because I don't know if I could work in the actual workforce. Not saying it's not an actual job, because man, they put me to work. But if I wasn't at such a spot like that, where it is just like my boss blasting under oath the second I walk in, I don't know if I could do it.
Right. They say, you know, find out what you love and do that, and you'll never work a day of your life.
There you go.
There you go. You know, it seems that from talking to you, it's your relationships that have kind of like brought you to this point. And it has been so beautiful, and it has been so organic, that I love just the laid back aspect of, I'm going to literally ride this wave until I fall off. And then I'm going to get on the next wave. And it's cool. You know, it is so refreshing to hear, especially in a society that beats into our heads the complete opposite. Beats into our heads, have every single second planned out of your day moving forward. You know, I want to know what's your plan for the next 10 days and yada, 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 you know, where you go on vacation with a 4-page binder of what you're going to do every second of every day. And here you are, you're like, I'm gonna ride the wave. It's incredible to see. Was this something that you just kind of like had it with everyday society, or is this just who you've been from jump?
I've been non-complacent since birth. Truly I have. And you know, I mean, I went to college. I tried, you know, various 9-to-5 gigs, and it's just not. It's not who I am, and maybe not who I'll ever be. I'm okay with that now. It gave me a lot of stress and a lot of worry for many years about what am I going to be doing? How am I going to be making money? Like everything in between, you know, every thought in between of what am I going to do for the rest of my life, which is just such a strange thing to instill in children.
Mm-hmm.
That's and that's a whole other can. Yeah, I know there's a lot of
there's a whole other can of worms
that can really cycle off for a few hours. But yeah, to poorly summarize it, that's that.
Actually, I don't think it was that poorly summarized. I think you nailed it on the head. You know, you're someone that lives for the quality of life, and it is really something that I personally think we all should aspire to. You know, because man, I have not interviewed anyone as relaxed and as calm as you. I've not spoken with anyone as relaxed and as calm as you. You know, I had a long conversation with someone that spent 2 hours at the High Bazaar, and he was not as relaxed and as calm as you are. And I think that is absolutely amazing. And again, it's something that is completely organic. You know, I almost want to say people need to go and you know, study your Buddhist ways. You know, yeah, in no way, you know, in no way am I saying that, but I mean, like, maybe we want to try. But for all of those people who kind of like want to reach out and want to move forward, when do you start actually planning like the next Obscuria event?
Let's see. Right now, for the one that I have in October, that is going down on October 1st, 2022, I think I have 17 vendors already booked. And that was, so I tried to get, I put up a Facebook event just, you know, to get things organized, to get everything set, to set times. And I put like coming 2022, and then everybody and their mother DM'd me. And I had to put not accepting any more vendor applications, which I don't even do vendor applications. Like, I don't have a business email. Like, you just DM me and I'm like, yeah, just show up. Which I'm surprised that hasn't fired back on me. Like, the whole just, you know, trusting people that much of like, yeah, just show up. I don't charge vendor fees. I just ask that you show up, which not only has everybody shown up, but they've been enthusiastic and have made an absolute killing. And it's freaky because my first event, somebody who I went to mortuary school with, Danielle, actually told me that it was literally her best event ever, monetarily speaking, and she had, you know, been through all those big festivals. And it was, it's humbling. It's humbling, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. When you have to shut down, you know, your vendor's application, you know, months before the event has to start. I mean, that's amazingly heard. It kind of reminds me, you know, Bill Murray. He doesn't really have an agent. He has an 800 number. If you happen to have the 800 number and you call that 800 number, if he picks up the phone, he might take your job. But you don't have an 800 number. And we've already said that you're not that great tech savvy. But for those people who want to get in touch with you, we're wrapping up the show right now. We only got a couple more minutes, but I want to give these moments to you to tell these people all the wonderful ways they can get in touch with you, whether it be sending out a bat signal or smoke signal or something like that. How can they become part of New England Obscuria or NEO?
The simplest way to get in contact with me, because even Facebook, I have like 12 unopened messages right now. And that's just my business page. And I kind of feel like I'm going to have to go through and cycle all that one day, but not right now. Best way of contact is definitely at New England Obscura. And it might take a day or two, but we'll talk. Or by all means, come down to the barracks when I'm working the bar, working sound, or working production. We'll talk there.
And for those people who are wanting to write that down, that's New England Obscura on Instagram. Make sure you do that, you know, because if you're just going out and walking outside your front door and be like, "Hey, New England Obscura," maybe someone responds back, but it's probably not going to be Joe. But when you hit him up on Instagram, it definitely will be Joe. And what do you got coming up at Barracks?
So we are booked out until August.
Wow, good for you guys.
As far as the amount of events we have coming up, we've got rap, EDM, house. We have rave nights. We got CT emo night. We've got bands coming in from Canada. We got bands coming in from Maryland, New York. You name it, something weird is happening every weekend for the entire summer down here.
That's amazing. Well, we appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being part of the show. P, you got anything? Any parting prestige moments?
No really parting words from me, but I do got something I want to ask you. Just for the person who's cool, calm, and collected as you are, what does success truly mean to you through your own personal vision?
Success in general, through my personal vision.
Yeah.
Waking up and having the money to get coffee. No, that's too simple. No, I just, maybe one day I'll be able to answer that properly. But for now, I'm just gonna go with it.
That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me, man. Joe, thank you for being a part of this broadcast. I do appreciate you. Right here on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, always Elm City made. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even say it. Long Island raised, Elm City made. The dancing distract me. EZ Blues is in the building. Joe, appreciate you, boss. Thank you for being part of Behind the Brand. Thank you.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know. Spending time all alone, sending my songs through the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the brujas